Hello everyone. I hope I'm audible. Okay, so let's start. So today what we are doing is let me show you the demo of what we'll be doing today. So if you see this library, today we in the previous video we already learned how to scroll. So today I'll teach you how we can group them in two or three, and there is one more thing, we'll be just beautifying how these cards behave. Now you can see when I click this card, you can see animation and some description here. This happens for all the card. This is what we'll be learning today, and below this description there is also read more. If you click read more, then like the previous screen we'll be getting the description screen. So today I will teach you how to group them in two or three parts, and this click animation and some description behind with a button here. So this will be our main agenda for today. Okay, let me bring up my VS Code. Okay, so for now what do we have? If I restart this, so this is what it looks for now. It don't have any animation, but it has something. When we click this we get this, and when we click this we get this. How did I do this? Before this, how I got this scrollable, let me show you. So there is a widget called grid view. What grid view does is, it's same like how list view works, but list view works in putting everything in a column wise, but in grid view we can also control how many rows and columns to show. So with the grid view there is one mandatory field called grid delegate value. So if you see this accepts grid delegate. So you can use, there are four or five kinds of delegate you can use. You can use even this. What I'm using is currently is cross axis extent, silver sliver grid delegate with max cross axis extent. What does this means is, we are controlling how many items should be in a row by giving the width of what should be the maximum width after this, which it can be grouped wise. So for now we are giving max cross axis as 250. So after 250 pixel, if there is more 250 pixel, then some of the item will be grouping it. So let me show you how this works. If I increase the width, you can see the number of items in the row is increasing, because now 1 2 3 4 5. So currently there are 5, means there are 250 into 5s of width. As we decrease the width get decreased and the number of items also decreased. Thus this is a good way where we can handle how many items to be viewed in a row by using the max extent. So if I change this to 300 or 350, you say, still there are two, because it's already 350. Now if you decrease a height by something, now the width here is less than 350. So I can show you what is the width, current width. uh, if I write here double width equals to maybe a query dot of context dot size. So this is how we can get the width of the screen. So now if I console log this, one second. So it's a double, so let's make it to string. Okay, now if I run this, let me show you what's in the console. If I run this, see there is something 339, but 339 is more than 350 but it's less than 700, because to show two items we need 700 at least. So let me increase this width. See, now it's 375. So one second. So you can see when we give 250, then we get two items in the row. As we increase, we'll be getting more based on the width that is available. So it will take consideration of the aspect ratio 2/3 and max cross extent. So you can see, uh, if you see here, there's 239, right? So 239 is less than 250, there is only one. But if you increase this, it goes, now it's 249, still there is one. But if you increase one more pixel, you can see there are two. Why two? Because we have reached the max cross axis extent. So if it reaches 250, above 250, then it will start increasing. Now there is 252, so there is two. As soon as it reaches 750, there will be one more. You see, 250, it is 500. After 250, it's 500, so it's 430, 470. Okay, you see, there's 501, so there is three. But if I decrease it to 470, there is only two. So that's how it's working. It's checking the max width that is available, and based on the width, it is increasing the number of item in row. So that is how you can use grid view. I hope you got that. So now when we click this, you can see there is something. How is this happening? So let me show you what are the changes that we have done from the previous video. It's simple, that's why I did not create a new video for this. So we are using a field called flip. So what is flip does? So if flip is true, then we'll be showing this card that has image, this one that is available on the screen. And when it is false, we'll be showing one more card that gives you description. So if you can see, it's same like card, we're using padding and some column, and we're using the description, and we're using a text button. On text button, we're giving an on pressed. I have already explained this on the last one when is gesture detector. There we had on tap. So every button has on pressed parameters, and here we are using a navigator that we use to change the page. So if I press this, you get a read more. When you press the read more, then you get this description page. So this is the one we have. So today we'll be learning how to create this animation. Now when we click this, it's just changing the page. It's not showing any animation. So today we'll be doing how to do that animation. To do that animation, let's wrap our card with a widget called animated switcher. So let's wrap this. We won't wrap the card, we'll be wrapping the whole thing, whole of the flip. So what we can do, uh, here in the child we'll be calling animated switcher. So animated switcher gives a required parameter of duration. So we'll give duration of say about 600 millisecond. So what this means is animated switcher takes a duration by default. So this will change in animation in 600 seconds. So this is giving an error. So, and it also has a child parameter. As you can see, these are the fields that are required. So duration is a mandatory and we can give child. So in the child we'll be passing this card, and let's close this. Now if I save this, now we are based on animation feature. So we are saying that in this it should change from this card to this card in a duration of 600 milliseconds. Now if I press this, you can see there is some fade animation. It's not like earlier one. So this is one. Let me show you the difference. So now take a look at this. There is some delay and there is some smoothness in here, changing the, you can see that. So let me show you how it was before this. So let me just go back. Okay, now if I control save this, so this is the previous one that was happening. Now you see this is more instant. It's not smooth, how smooth it was with animated switcher. So let's go back to animated switcher itself. Okay, I guess it's all gone once more. So let's write animated switcher duration of millisecond 600. So this is the, now you can see it's a little bit more smoother than just changing it from one card to another. But we don't want fade animation, we want that it should have a flip animation like we showed in the intro. So let's try to get that. To get that, we should look some of the field that animated switcher provides us. So animated switcher has some property called switch in curve, switch out curve. Let's look at that. Switch in curve and switch out curve. What is switch in and switch out curve? When you click on this, it's the incoming card and this is the outgoing card. How a card shows up and how it goes away, this is handled by switch in curve. By default, switch in card has linear, so we can change that by giving some other field curves dot bounce in and curves dot bounce out. We may not see the animation now because, but there is, you can see that small flick of animation. Yes, that flick of animation is controlled by this bounce in and bounce out by curve in animation. You can see it's not like the previous one. See, there is some flickering in between. So this can be controlled by using this bounce in bounce out. There are some more. If you see, there are many field, you can use any one of them. So let's do one thing. Let's do this elastic in and elastic out. If I save this now, see this, there's some flickering and that's how this animation works. But we are not more interested on this. More than this, we are interested how to give that flip. So for that flip, there is one more field in animated switcher, that is this transition builder. Transition builder by default is this transition that gives us that fade animation, but we'll be using our own transition builder. So let's give it transition builder and let's call our transition builder that will be building transition builder. So this is a widget that we'll be building by ourselves. So let's create a widget called transition builder. Let's go here and create a widget here called transition builder. So this transition builder, if you see, by default passes two parameters, the widget and the animation. So we'll be taking this and pass it here. It takes a widget and an animation. So these are the fields that transition builder passes by default to any of these widget that we'll be creating in this transition builder. So now let's create an animation. So in Flutter there is a property called twin. So let's create a twin. We'll call, so as we are doing flip animation, so let's call it flip anim. And using the twin property provided by Flutter, we'll be mentioning uh, the animation that we want to create. So twin has two property called begin and end. So we want that how the animation should begin and how it should end. What is the angle? So for begin we can take pi. So pi in Flutter means it's a 180 degree. So you can see the pi constant. It's a constant of provided by Darth Math, and it's 180 by default. And end we can do the 0.0. Now this is the twin. This is begin and end, but it does not give animation. To provide the animation, we can write a property called animate, and we can just give animation. So it's giving an animation because this should be a variable, not an constant, because this will be changing, right? It will be changing from beginning to end, so it can't be a constant. It needs to be a variable. Now in the return, what do we want? We want that there should be an animation. So we can create an animation using the animation builder. So just call animation builder animation uh, we can just call animation builder, and this should be fine. Calling the animated, sorry, it's not animation, it was just animate builder. So you can call animate builder, and animate builder take two fields, animation that will already be getting from here, but we don't want this animation, right? We want the animation of flip animation. So we'll take this and put it here, and we'll create a builder. So the builder requires a context and a widget. So we'll just be passing the context, and for the widget we'll pass the widget that we are getting from above. So this will be widget, so we'll just pass this widget here. So what this widget is, this widget will define the child of this, the child that is passing here. Transition builder will take up this child and pass here. So all of this will be part of the widget for this animation. So now we have created the animation builder. Now we need to return animation builder. If you go by definition, you see it needs to return animation. We have already given that, and it requires a child. So for the child we can just make it an animation. So let's pass for the child. For the child we'll be passing the widget itself. Now for the build, let's return the animation. So for the animation you can return, just call the transform property provided by Flutter. So we can just use transform. So transform requires a matrix 4 animation, or matrix 4 helps in changing the how we can rotate, we can shrink, we can change the direction, we can flip, and all that can be controlled by matrix 4. So matrix 4 has a property of rotation, so we'll be using rotation Y so that we can flip in the top to bottom direction, not in the horizontal but in the vertical direction. Flip Y helps in rotation from horizontal direction, and flip X helps in, so I'll say how it's work. So for now we can use the value that will be provided by flip anim. Now if you run this, it's building, let it build. It is taking more time than expected, but it should get built. So you can see it got built. Now if you click this, see you get an animation, but this animation is not proper. But you can see there is a flipping, right? But this is taking control of many things. Let's just restart it once again. So you can see that animation, right? So it's behaving a little bit weird. So what we can do for this is, mm, let's do one thing. Switch in out. Let's run it once more. You can see that animation, right? But you can see it's controlling two widget, but it's not building them in a proper way. Why is this happening is like because it's taking the place of another. It's working in a straight way, but we don't want that. We want that it should work like a stack so that it rotates in its own place rather than taking a space from others. When it reaches this in the middle, we want that it should be stacked upon this. This can be done in Flutter by one way called, if you see in the animated switcher, there is one more property called layout builder. So we can use that, and we can just write layout builder, and layout builder take two properties, current child and previous children, and we can put them in a stack. Now if you save this, let's restart it so that everything is refreshed. Now if you click on this, see you get an animation. But this animation is not still in proper way, and how you can solve this? We can solve this by using some switch in and switch out curve in different way. So let's do ease in. Let's save this and see how it works. So still it is having that animation, but it's still not in a, and it's still behaving in a weird way. So how can we solve that? If you see, child is on correct, this is correct, transition builder is also correct. Hmm, there is something we are missing out. Let's see. Hmm, let's declare this value as, but this won't bring any change because we are using the flip animation value. And if we set the entry for this, why is it taking two rows? Hmm, One second, guys. Let me see what's happening. So if you go to our transition builder, we're taking a widget and we are taking an animation. Then we are doing a flip of the transaction that we are doing. So we're taking it from beginning to end. That's correct. And we're also using animate builder. Animate builder helps in transforming the animation. So we are using the flip animation from here. And in the child we are passing the widget because we want that animation should be on that card that we are using. Then we are using the transform property so that we can transform, or we can, with the help of matrix, we can just rotate that. That is what we will be using. And the transform, we are using a rotation of y, and what's the alignment? Let's use this alignment, so let's make it center. Now you can see it's working. Why it wasn't working is, so there's a property of alignment in transform, and this takes, if you remove this, so this is not taking place in the center but is taking in the right hand side of this. So if you see, it isn't taking in the center but is taking in this part in the right hand side. So it creates a hinge of two cards and it rotates. But here, as there is no other thing, so it's taking this part as a hinge and rotating here. So let's do one thing. From the center, let's move it in the right side, top right. So if you do this now you see it should be rotating, taking this as an hinge. You can see that it's taking this as an hinge for that. This should also take. Here you can't see that because you can't see this side of the right hand side of the screen, so you can't see that, but it's taking this as an hinge. So for giving the hinge we need this alignment, and for now let's put it in a center. So now it's center, so the hinge is here, so you can't see the two-sided of card, but you can see only one, as it is the hinges in the middle of this picture. So now if you rotate, it rotates taking control of the middle. So this is one. Now if you remove the stack, why is using the stack? As I said, we want the layout to be built one upon another so that we can't see what's happening. We want to hide the mechanism. So now if I rotate, see, you already know there is something else. When you click, it changes the card, then the rotation happens, but we don't want to show that. That's why you're using stack, so that when it rotates, we're not seeing it directly, but it will go in the form of stack one upon another. So that's why we are using layout builder. Now if you click, see, you don't know until it's in the middle, then it changes the card because it behaves as a stack. So this is how we do this animation of flip animation. So now we can read the description, can read the picture, then we can go to read more and get the description. So this is a short video that I was planning for today. I know there were many hiccups, as I also did not know about this. I have recently learned about this. So from where I learned, I'll put a description of the medium. Okay, let me put it now itself in the comment. Wait a second. Firefox seems to not be starting. Okay, it started. If I go to flip animation, Flutter. Once a second, I'll be pasting the link where I got to learn about this. Not finding it now. One second. Okay, I found it. I'll be pasting the link in the comment. So I pasted the in the comment. I'll put in the description also so that you can also look it from there. This is the place where I got idea of this, and I took the code sample from there. So now you can see, now we have a pretty good front view of what we wanted for our app. Mm. Now we have scrollable, and when we click we have this flip animation. We have a read more where we can show PDF reader and all that, and we knew how to create this grid. So let me take you of what we have done for now. So we have this grid builder to show how we are putting this 2, and you understood why I used 250, and you can use any number here, and based on that it will create how many cards to be shown in a row. So this is a very excellent one, because when you use this grid you don't have to provide the width of anything, so it will be based on the screen they are watching. The size will be based on that. So suppose if you increase this one, so if it's not greater than 500 for 2, then it will still be doing the same, but as soon as it reaches that, so it will be to 3 and it will give a good size for that. So you can use this grid view for now, and when the item is same like list view that we discussed in the previous video. So you pass the book card widget that we built, and in the book card widget we are using a new animated switcher. So animated switcher helps in switching from one object to different. And how we are switching using the help of this variable called flip. This flip will say if it's true, then it will show the image view, and when it's false, then it will show the description and a button where you can press and go to an F. So we can modify this. If you go to the link that I provided, if you can see that you can make it more smooth. You can do that as from your side by looking at the code from the article, but I won't be doing that in a video because we both can see and do it. In the next video what we'll do, uh, we'll try to get the data. Instead of that, what we can do, we can start working with there is one more thing I wanted to do. In the top I wanted that we should have some recommended books, so that should not be part of this scrollable, but it should be part that will be sticking in the top. Suppose say 30% of the width of this one will be using a page view where we can scroll and see the recommended books by a server, and below we can put the scrollable. So that's my idea for the front view. So let's see if I can, in the next video we'll try to do that. After that we'll integrate it with internet so that we can fetch some books and all that. And slowly, you can see slowly and steadily our app is getting built. It's not too much of uh, too much beautiful to say, but yes, for our beginner project this should be well fine. As we go on progressing video, I'll take some help from some more articles and see if I can make it more beautiful, and I will share it with you. So this was it for the video, and I know there are many things I also got stuck in between, but that's a part of learning. That's part of live video, that you understand what you're missing out and you can work on that. And that's it for today. If you found it interesting, check out the next video. Until then, have a, or as I say, go the Flutter way. Okay, so that's for today. See you in the next.